Hello, everybody. This is Nikki from Motherhood Unfiltered. It's going to be okay. And today is day 2 of the Get Out of the Funk workshop. And I hope you're all ready to come to work um, and to get to be enlightened and to feel like there's some hope for yourself in the future. Because on day 2 of my course that I created from my own experience, I was stuck at day 2 for a long time. So I would get discouraged, but each time I progressed, it got better. So, real quick, I just want to go out and check body lost. Um, Trying to find my website. Okay. Nope, everything looks good. Okay, so if you do log on, please um, click on the link and add your name and email address. And that way we know who you are when you comment. Yesterday, I'll go do a quick review from yesterday, and then we'll get started on day 2. So, I'm trying not to show that picture in the background, but I'm not successful. So, let's see here. Let's do this one. Yeah. Okay. So, Get Out of the Funk workshop. Welcome to my workshop. And day 1, we went over why am I feeling this way? Oh crap, I didn't change that word. Change begins at the end of your comfort zone. So, why am I feeling this way? Is it a conflict with family, friends, or coworkers? What are the emotions you're feeling? Um, Finding out the emotions is very important. Are you sad? Are you crying? Mad? You're aggravated? Um, you're feeling lost, exasperated, all of those things. And how long have you had these feelings? That's a very important thing because when I went through my depression, I was like, I just started feeling this way. It happened in October. But in actuality, it had been going on for a lot longer. So, I mean, evident of the fact that I had been taking medication for years to um, try to handle the stress and depression that I was going through. So, so yeah, you have to be honest with yourself. It's not easy. Um, it's embarrassing. It's frustrating, but it is what it is. Figure out what the heck's happening, deal with it, and go on with it. So, knowing these things, what's the conflict? What are the emotions that you've been feeling, and how long have you been having these feelings? Um, Answering those honestly with yourself will give you the insight to what is really the root problem. When I had the falling out with my middle son a few years ago, that really wasn't the problem. There were some things that had happened years before that I did not know about. Things came out, and um, and so that was the root of the problem, and that's what you have to deal with. So, the best way to figure out what's in your head is to get it out on paper. So there was a study. I don't know who did this study. I actually heard it secondhand, but there's been a study that the more we get into technology and um, and get away from the manual pen to paper, the less that information stays in our head. So it's best, if you want to remember something, is to get out your notebook, get out a pen, paper, and start writing. Start writing all of the negative stuff that's in your head. You're spilling out your stressors. What, or triggers, some people would say. So, what are your triggers? Your nagging thoughts, your mental clutter, and your pesky annoyances. Get those out and get them down on paper. It doesn't have to be in any kind of order, it doesn't have to be in complete sentences at all. You're just writing the thoughts down. And a lot of times when I've done this exercise, it may begin with some kind of a small pet peeve. But as I keep writing, then the deeper I go, and then there are more disturbing or things that I have decided not to um, focus on. And that's where the hard work is focusing on the one thing that is really, um, causing the problems in your life. Let me change this setup because I keep looking down at myself and it's very disturbing. So I might do the side by side one. Oh, there we go. Okay. I don't feel like I'm looking down. So getting those things down on paper. Some people will think as something that's small and insignificant. Yeah, it's an easy thing just to get paper out and write it. However, if you apply yourself and really get those things out, you're going to find how much help it is going to be to you. And you could uncover a lot of dust and spider webs and cobwebs that's been in your um, head that you've covered up for years and that you really should be dealing with. So that was the homework for yesterday. So if you haven't done it yet, quite all right. Um, get it done, post it with day one with the hashtag replay, hashtag brain dump. And then today we'll have a different um, homework that will be um, required. And if you do those things, the Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, um, Thursday there is a homework, but it's not required. So if you post those, then you will be put in a drawing to win a couple of prizes that I have set aside for everybody. So, okay. See, that person's writing a step down. Yeah, so I just went over that. So let's begin day two, and we will have a grand old time. Oh Lord, I put it right back to the beginning. I'm sorry, folks. Good thing it's going fast. I must have hit the fast forward button or the rewind button. Okay, day two. How do I get out of this funk? Yeah, good question, huh? Every single day, you need to feed your mind. And so that is the concept of getting out of this funk, is to get the steps that you need to work on. The one thing that I'm learning, especially as I get older, and things that I learned. Okay, these are things I learned when I was a kid, but I did not like to do it. If it was too hard, I didn't want to do it. I would either find the easiest and fastest way to get something done, or I would I would not do it. So I either wouldn't do it or I would find the easiest, fastest way to get something done. So, um, however, those things that I learned when you go through all the steps is so important. It is extremely important. And that is what we need to focus on is figuring out what those steps are for you. When I would train at my job, I would tell everybody, okay, this is how I'm going to show you how to do it. Then once you're out on your own, you will eventually find a way that is easiest for you to understand and to get to the finish line because it doesn't, for the most part, it doesn't matter how you get to the end as long as you get there. And I worked in customer service. I still do, but I have a different customer now. Um, I don't. I would take orders from stores and go online and or take phone calls and give them, information that they needed about their orders and things. But now the new job that I'm doing now is my customer is different. Customer service is my customer. So they service our customers or manufacturers or dealers or people at the stores. And then we take care of customer service, making sure the system is set up for them. So it's still the same kind of job. So it doesn't matter how I do the steps as long as I get the end results will be the same. Um, I know like for when there's uh, people in their math classes, um, they show you a specific way on how to do things. And if you don't follow those steps, you're not going to get the right answer. And that's just about as much as my math goes. So there is a certain way that things get done when you're doing a math class. And that doesn't matter um, for yourself in your life because we're all different. Um, we all experience depression and anxiety in a different way. So it is, I will show you the steps that I took, and then we will go through and see how that would look for you in your personal life because not everybody is on the same journey working through this. Some people may have just realized, oh my God, my doctor put me on on antidepressive medication. When I first started taking, um, you know, I started taking, I don't remember what the very first one I took, but I think it was Zoloft. I did take Zoloft for a long time, and I was really sad about it. I was really sad when he diagnosed me with bipolar, and I didn't know what that was. All I knew about it was that people would be fine 1 second and then mad and punching walls the next. And I really wasn't that violent person, but I would have those violent swings of extreme mood swings, and that was really disturbing for me. So yeah, so it depends on where you are in a journey is what happens when you take these steps. Let's see here real fast. Oh, sorry, dude. Okay. So, so like I said, every single day you feed your mind. So when you've been in a depressive state or an anxiety, suffering from anxiety, I don't know the percentage of people who suffer with one or the other or both. All I know is that I suffer from both of them. So, and so in saying that is this is something that you should try and work on every day. Now, there are some days you're not even going to have the gumption or the wherewithal to even be able to work on any of your steps to improve your life. In the beginning, because I had been in this dark state for months, it was hard for me to tell my brain, okay, when this happens, remind me to look at my list and to think a positive thought. Okay. So, but as I kept working on it, it got easier and I would start to see the symptoms earlier. I would start to realize, oh, I'm starting to feel this way. And then I would start to put my backup, routines in place so that I didn't go back into that deep, dark state. And there are some things that had, that happened that would just, I would be, had, I would be good for weeks and then something would happen that would take me back to that original time and date when I had that phone call with my son and everything happened. And I would just start over. I would just start over because that is the only thing that is going to keep you going, to give you the hope that you're going to get better. Now, um if you think you're someone who struggles with depression or anxiety or whatever it is, you could have something totally different. I'm not a doctor, I'm not certified or anything. I'm just going from my experience. I am will urge you to go make an appointment with your doctor. Okay? That's just a disclosure because I can't cure you, but you can take these things and hold on just a second. I'm back. Okay. So and I lost my train of thought. Okay, well, let's just go on. So, every single day, feed your mind. So, how do I get out of this funk? So, like I said, this is where the magic begins to happen. You look at your brain depth from day one. Think of a positive reaction to a negative reaction. So, negative thought, I never keep my dishes caught up. Positive thought, I will give myself grace and do the dishes when I have time. So, that is a simple thing. I use it because it's one of my biggest pet peeves. Um, so some of the things that um, we had written down as a brain dump. So, or some of the things I had done. So my thing was, some of the things that I had done was actually, let me share it with you here in just a second. I posted it for yesterday, and so let me see if I can do this as an adult. And okay, so let's go to, nope, let's go to present. Actually, let me do it this way. I feel like my nose is trying to run, but not feels like it is. I shared this yesterday, and this was part of a brain dump that I had done for myself, and then I wrote it out to share. I should have had this already done, but you know. Now let's see if I can share my screen with you. Uh, no, it wants two monitors. Okay. All right, but I'll post this in the group again. So so these were things that I put down in my brain dump. I had poor hygiene. I wasn't showering regularly. I wasn't putting on deodorant. I wasn't combing my hair. None of those things. And I'm not saying that because I'm proud of it. I'm saying that because it was a reality. Okay. So if your reality is the same, then you need to think about that. Okay. I did not want to be with my family and friends. I would, now this one I did not do as much because I used work as a way to avoid dealing with my emotions and my feelings. Okay. But some people would not go to work. Okay. Then or they would choose work, so they would do overtime. They would pick up shifts when they really didn't need to, but, I mean, we all have to work to take care of to make sure we have money to pay our bills and stuff, but there are sometimes, you would overdo it, and I overdid it. There were days I would go days um without taking a day off or whatever. So, and I worked from home, but when I worked in customer service, it was really easy to get on Saturdays and Sundays and to pick up extra hours and stuff. And a lot of times I would do that because and there was work to do. Don't get me wrong, there was work to do. I didn't just sit there. But when I was off work, I should have been taking care of my house. I should have been taking care of myself, right? So, binge watching TV to avoid that thing that's right here you're supposed to be, paying attention about. Sleeping more than you're awake. Yeah, so on the weekends when I was off or I didn't have to work, I would sleep all day. Yeah, I would. Unable to focus at work. So, yeah, because I would be working and then I would start thinking about, "Oh, I really should be doing those dishes downstairs. I should be washing clothes. I should be vacuuming. I should be walking. I should be taking care of my animals. I should be feeding, getting something for dinner." And I wasn't doing that because I just I felt overwhelmed by it. I would say, "Well, I can't do my dishes because, I can't cook dinner because all the dishes in the house are dirty." And so you would like, "Well, let's just go and grab some fast food or something." That is the worst thing to do. Um, okay, games. So video games and then phone games. I've talked about this before. I was addicted to phone games. Social media. Good grief. I was always on Facebook. Let's see here. Mindless shopping. Um, at first I didn't do that, but now that um the boys have been gone, um, well, I have one that's still at home, but and I would buy things that I thought I needed to make my life easier, and I still do that. I really have to rein myself in, like I wanted to buy another vacuum cleaner because my thought was, well, I'll put the older one upstairs. It still works fine. I'll put the older one upstairs, then I'll use the newer one downstairs. Then we won't have to tug it up and down the stairs all the time. Okay, yeah, that's convenient, but I already have a hand vacuum. I have a robot. I have a Shark, which I love Shark vacuums, and I use all of them. So why would I need another vacuum cleaner? Alcohol and drugs. I I mean, yeah, I drink. I've not done drugs. Um, the only thing I've ever done is like smoke some marijuana a long time ago. But that's never been a temptation for me. A temptation is for me is eating, binge eating, and that's on the list. Um, so binge eating, and then I lost my thought. And I have on here boy toys. I think my reference to that is like all the techie stuff. So, which I like techie stuff. Um, I have a weather station that's in my backyard. I absolutely love it. Glenn and I thought about getting another one that has a camera on it. So when I'm broadcasting, it's not broadcasting, but you upload the weather stations like Weather Underground, um, the Weather Channel, you can upload your link, and then people in the surrounding area that's closest to them can use your weather station to tell them the most accurate weather in their area. Okay. So I thought, what if I put a camera on there and then people could see the cloudiness? I just love stuff like that. Um, but anyway, those are fun things to have, but I really don't need them. And they're a distraction. They are a distraction from me paying attention to what's going on in my head and in my heart, and um and working on those things. So so yeah. Oh, and my sister told me yesterday I said so too many times. So I'm gonna try not to do that. I already know that, but sometimes I forget and don't pay attention. So, oh my God, I just did it again. All right. So those are symptoms of the those are my list of symptoms when you're a funk. But the start of this was those were things, most of those things is what I written down on my brain dump. And some of the other things I had on my brain dump, or have that one here too. I'm afraid to get out of my comfort zone, fear of the unknown, procrastination. I feel unworthy. You let this happen. It's your fault. So, no energy to do anything else right now. I put off purging. Purging meaning getting decluttering. I don't pay my bills. I have I don't want to do those uncomfortable conversations and self-care. So those are things that, and the number one was it probably won't work. I've been on this medication for a long time. It won't work. Nothing I'm going to do is going to make me feel better. So I just might as well get used to it. So tell me, how many of those things are on that was on your brain dump? And you may have completely different things, but I know some of these are on some of your all's list, maybe not exactly word for word, but in some kind of variations. So, with those things, that is enough things that you can work on for a long time to help you come up with a plan that is going to be fit for you and that's going to be right for you. Now, listen, it may not be the perfect plan in the beginning. You may have something on here that you think you need to work on, and but it's not the right time for you to work on it. There may be something else first that you need to work on. So now put off that uncomfortable conversation. I wanted to, the thing with that happened with my son was he completely um, segregated his wife, and his child from our family. He did not talk to me for over It was over a year, and that's a long time. I mean, if anybody knows me, when I raised my boys, I kept them with me. They were with me all the time. If they weren't with their dads, now as they got older, they would go to their friends, but they were never away from me um, for long periods of time. They rarely went. Now, my they as they like I said, as they got older, they would do trips and things, but I always had them with me. And so this was the longest period of time I went without talking to my son, and it was devastating for me. It got to the point that when we he did reach out, I I was afraid to say anything because I thought if I said hello, he was like, "That's it, woman. I'm done with you for real." Not overreacting, but you know. So that one I couldn't take care of. But there are other things on this list that you can put on there that would help you to start um, your plan. So let's move on. Okay, let's move on. Just want to make sure there's because yesterday people were like, I tried to get on, but I couldn't figure it out. Okay. The good thing about this is I get to just keep going. So lucky y'all, huh? Oh, poop. Okay, add the stream. Uh-oh. There we go. Oh, let me go back, make sure I didn't miss anything. So with the brain dump, you may be thinking, where do I begin? Baby steps. So, my coach, her favorite thing to say is baby steps, my friend, baby steps. So, like I said, we will be going through some actionable things. And I'm sorry, but I don't have a magic pill to give you and just make everything better. You are going to have to actually put in the work and do this thing. And if you don't get it right away, you just get back up and you keep doing it. And today I watched a YouTube video and I don't remember the guy's first name, but I remember his last name is Goggins, Goggins. He was a a child where his father was abusive to his mother and himself. And his mother, his dad, severely had beaten him, and his mother used that was her breaking point. So she took him, her son, and they moved to Brazil, Indiana. And I meant to look that up to see exactly where it was. But, um, and as you know, Indiana is predominantly white. So this was in the 90s when he was in high school. He was in a new school. There was only a few, black families there, and he got made fun of all the time. He was in fights, things like that. You know how cruel teenagers can be. But his mom was working 2, 3 jobs most of the time to support them, and so he would not disclose this information of what was going on with him at school, but he learned that you just don't give up. You just keep getting up. And he went on to, he joined the Army Reserves, I think. But he was the first Army Reserve um, candidate who graduated from the Navy SEALs. So I guess that was not something that ever happened. And so from that, he has done a lot of triathlons, marathons, things like that. And they say he's the strongest man. He won a contest doing 4,030 chin ups in 17 hours. I can't even do one. Okay. I mean, I can't even do one, people. So, but so he was being interviewed for doing all of these wonderful things. And he said that his favorite, so the person that was interviewing him asked him, like, well, what was your inspiration? What happened? How did you do this? And he said the one thing that stuck out to him was this in the movie Rocky, where Rocky was fighting Apollo Creed. And Apollo Creed, at the point in this fight, had just beat the crap out of Rocky, and he keeps getting knocked down. And so he knocks him down, thought he knocked him out. Creed turns around and puts his fist in the air like he'd won. Well, he turns around and he sees that Rocky's getting back up. And the look on his face was like, are you freaking for real? Why is this guy getting back up? Are you serious? Like he's how do I keep him down? Like he was just so surprised that he thought he knocked him down or knocked him out, and here he is getting back up. Why is he getting back up? And he was just um, so moved by that moment that everything was against Rocky. He was illiterate. He couldn't read. He had no money. He had no prospects. But it didn't matter what happened to him. He kept getting back up. And so that's the thing that you have to remember about yourself is no matter how many times you get knocked down, you need to get back up. You just get back up. And Rocky didn't just jump up like, hey, here I am. I mean, he had to struggle to get to his feet. I mean, when a boxer gets punched in the head, I mean, it literally knocks you senseless, and most of the time you don't even know, your brain can't even tell your body, hey, get back up. But there's a determination in human beings that comes from deep within that will tell you you don't know why, you don't have the strength, you don't have the mental wherewithal, but you just get back up. And that's what you're going to have to do when you decide that, yes, I may have depression and anxiety. Yes, I come from a family that totally sucks, you know, and I mean, I love my family, but we are a bunch of Mod Podge mess. But you for yourself have to decide, I don't care. I'm just going to get back up. So that when I just happened to come across that this morning, I was looking for something else, and that really just made an impression on me because it don't matter how old you are. You could be a young adult and you don't even know um, how to be tough or how to be perseverant. Just know that if you are feeling down, you may be down for a while, but you just get back up and you just keep trying. And eventually, the things that are bad happening in your life will turn out to be the good things that you can use to help others. So I'm off that soapbox. So let's keep going. So, how do I get out of this funk? So, Going through your list, how can you flip the script on those negative thoughts? When you turn the negative into a positive, there isn't anything you can't do or accomplish. And retraining your brain will take time, but if you keep at it, you will succeed. So if you're watching this later, I don't think anyone's on right now watching. But that's fine. Just put um, hashtag flip the script and then put some examples in there for the others to see because somebody may be having a brain fart and be like, I don't know. So, but anyway, let me switch this so that um, we can go through some examples of flipping the script. So, I don't have time. So, I don't have time to work on this. I don't have time to write in my journal. I don't have time to take a shower. So, how can you flip that script? You flip that script by saying, I'm going to make time. Okay. So, you will just have to be, the one thing I like to say is you need to be more intentional. So, I'm going to either decide I'm going to get up and shower before I go to work. Now, when I left the house and went to work, I showered every day before I left. So, why can't I get up and shower before I crawl up these stairs to go to work? Um, so procrastination. This is one I still struggle with today. Procrastination. Um, and I still do it, but I don't do it as much because I try to do something that will give me a quick win and then I feel really good about myself. And so that keeps me going, right? That keeps me plugging away, that keeps me getting back up. So, and those are things that you need to do. So, procrastinating. There's a saying, and I said it today, and I don't know who said it. So, let me find out real fast. But if someone said, if you eat a frog first thing in the morning, the rest of the day, it was Mark Twain that said it. So, Mark Twain once said, eat a live frog first thing in the morning, and nothing worse will happen to you the rest of the day. So, that means do the hard thing first. So, in this moment, if showering is the hard thing, get up, do it first, get it out of the way. That way, you are preparing yourself for the rest of the day, and nothing else is going to be harder than that. That's what that means. So, um, no energy to do anything else right now. Okay, so why don't you have energy? Are you working out 5 hours a day so you're too tired to clean the house? Or are you have so many things that you say you need to get done that you can't take care of yourself? So, are you telling people you can do things when you really can't? Are you promising things that you can't deliver on? Those are things that you need to look at and prioritize. I know people who do nothing but run around and they do this, they do that, and they get things done. I mean, they do, but they don't get things done at home for themselves, for them kids, for their families. They don't get things done for themselves at all. They need to have some quiet time, and they're not doing it because they don't have time right now. So that's where you have to decide when someone asks me something, you need to look in your calendar and be thinking, Do I have time to devote X amount of hours or time to this project without suffering, or taken away from my family? Your family should come first. You should come first. So instead of just saying yes immediately, tell them, let me get back with you. Let me think about this. Okay. Oh boy, put off paying bills. Oh my God, that is the worst one for me. I don't know why I would do it. I would just not pay my bills. Probably because I was doing that mindless shopping, and that's probably why. But you got you getting those blue color bills envelopes or those pink color envelopes, or you got signs on it. I don't know how many times utilities got shut off at my house. And I'm just being honest. Um, I had some okay, I had so much going on that I would forget to pay a bill 3 months in a row. Well, I didn't want to face the fact that I had spent money on things that I shouldn't have spent money on. And this was before I was married. My husband would probably choke me if I but there were times when we first got together that he was like, "Why didn't you pay this bill?" I was like, "I didn't want to." I didn't want to mess up that I had spent it on, you know, shopping, things like that. You know, and I'm not a dumb person, but I would pretend a lot that I forgot. And then there were some times where I would be paying my bills on time, but I would pay one bill twice and another one not at all. And then I would get myself in a jam. Um, Having a checking account was the worst thing for me. Uh, I I wish I had cash, but I've had to deal with that. And it was because I was not budgeting. I was not sitting down and going through my bills, going through my income, and setting money aside for the things that the boys needed, setting money aside for bills. Now, when I was not in a depression or everything was fine, that stuff got paid on time. It really did. But when I stopped taking care of myself and when I stopped taking care of my house, those things happened. And I mean, I don't know what to say about it. It just happened. I mean, I have not had my water shut off, but the lights have been shut off so many times. It's embarrassing, but it is what it is. So, yeah, I know 'em, so it'll be all right. Self-care, preventive health care. So the one thing that helped with this was the company I worked for a long time ago put in some like extra beneficial things for us through our insurance. And one of them is preventive care. Like preventive care. The concept was so foreign to me because you only went to the doctor when you were sick. So how this works out is you went to the doctor before you was sick, and then you would make sure, like, if you ran tests or anything, they could see if, maybe you've got something going on, like high cholesterol or your blood sugar's off or your hormone levels are off, which is what happened with me when they figured out I had some kind of a thyroid problem. It was through a preventive health care appointment, and those were free. Those were free. You did not have to pay for those. and you got one a year. So that is what we're saying preventive care. So what does that look like for us today? If you feel like that you are in a depressive state, call your doctor, make an appointment. Now, if he says, I don't think you're depressed, you might need to, you know, just do some exercise, make sure you're eating healthy, maybe you're just feeling sluggish, and that's fine because in the future, if it happens again and it's worse or better, the doctor already has something that they can gauge off of. They can say, okay, so you've been here before for the same problem. Here is your grade from the first appointment. Here's your grade from the second appointment. Okay, maybe we need to do something about this. And then they can give you options that might be beneficial to you. So that's what I mean about preventive care. You should take care of yourself anyway. Um, you should take care of yourself first because if you don't, you're not going to be able to take care of anybody else. And I know a lot of people that listen to my podcast and probably are listening to this workshop now has little ones that rely on you or have people that rely on you. You have to take care of yourself first. If you put yourself out because you're not being healthy, you're not going to the doctor, you're not getting your exercise. And I'm not saying go to the gym. I'm saying just being up, moving, being active, and just not sitting in a chair all day or sitting on a couch all day like I was doing. And I mean, I've gained so much weight from that. And I really hadn't worried about getting it off. But I feel like I'm at a place now where I can actually maybe work on getting it off. Because I have been telling my doctor for a long time that there was something else wrong. I felt so tired all the time. And I wasn't feeling depressed or anything, but they did a DNA test, and it showed that I was folate deficient, which is one of the B12s, the B9 and B12, I think it is. And so I started taking a supplement, and he switched one of my medications. Now, the medication I was on was helping, but I had been on it for so long, and so he switched it. And I I feel like a new person, like I can get up and do things. So I feel like now that maybe I can focus on my weight after I get through some other things on my list to get done. But those are things that you can do to flip the script. So whatever is on your list, think of whatever it is, think of it in a 360 reaction. So how can you do that? Okay. If you're having trouble figuring that out, reach out to me. We will go over it. It was hard for me at first too because I was like, I don't know how to do this, but Melissa was there. I'll help you. So let's continue on. So retraining your brain will take time, but if you keep at it, you will succeed. Yow. So questions or comments. So what I want you to do, I must have forgot to change the wording on this, but so you're going to post a picture of like the 3 top things from your brain dump that you feel are important to you. And you can even just take the same picture that you posted, circle it, the 3 things that you have, and then you're going to write how you would flip the script on that one. Okay? So what would you do to start working on that problem? So that is today's homework. And if you haven't posted yesterday's, please post it, hashtag replay and brained up. And then today, hashtag replay and flip the script. Okay. So let's just make sure there's no one hovering out here in Never Never Land. Bum, bum, bum. I will post this link. Oh, Jesus, mother. Okay. So I will post this video in the page for the work group once I'm done. And because I didn't think I messed up, but now that I think about it, I had a couple people that had trouble finding it. I will post it in the event. And that way, either one. If you can't find it, just post a comment and I'll say, hey, I can't find it. Help me. So I will get on there and post it for you. And I hope that this has been helpful for you. It's just so important. And let me check my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. So, yeah, it's the big thing is looking for those signs, you know. Um, when I was talking to someone the other day, I asked them, like, when did you realize that you were getting depressed? And they said, I don't know, it just happened. Well, I hope you can hear me because the camera, maybe it'll work now. Oh, oh my gosh. I'm so sorry, people. I was talking and fiddling with the camera cord and it went off. So I just need to sit on my hands. And I said, when did you realize, when did you start, to feel this way? And they're like, I don't know. I'm like, yeah, you do. You do know. What are the signs that you're going into a spiral when you're going into that deep, dark place? And for this person, it was they started forgetting things. They were focusing on the negative, the thing they did not have any control over. They started focusing on that. And you can't do that. You cannot focus on something you have no control over. And that was the number one thing that I worked on. I was like, I can't make somebody reconcile with me. And I didn't want to say that. I didn't want to go through that at all. So I thought, well, until ready, I'll just start working on things I need to work on. And what are things that were stressing me out? And one of them was my kitchen. Lord help me. My kitchen was a mess. So it's all of those things. Um, so hopefully this exercise will help you. And another thing is I will be doing this again in April. So I know there's some free workshops I did every time they came out. I got on board and I did them. I knew I had done them before, but there was always something new that would get uncovered, and a lot of times because the person doing the workshop was just talking, I'm on the other end listening and bawling my eyes out because I knew that there was things that was being said that I needed to apply to myself, you know. And so that's what you need to do when you listen to this. what can I do to apply this to myself? So the first thing is do your brain depth and then pick, and you can do it with everything on the list if you want, but we're only just going to work on the top three, the top three things that are bringing you down are just right there in your face. And you're going to flip that script. So what can I do instead, you know, of this bad thing? How can I turn that negative into a positive? And like I said, if you need help, just reach out in the private group that I set up. Excuse me. And we'll go from there. So, bye.